I'm Josh with Skid Pro. So if you get our Skid Pro snowblower, soil conditioner, or angle broom, this is essentially the packet that you're going to get. The attachment, in this case it's a snowblower, it'll come with the universal toggle and then a power lead on the attachment side. So the power lead is going to come with 4 hots, a ground, and a spare. You're going to have the same on this side. So let's walk through real quick how we would hook this up. You can really do this however you want. You can run it as simple as simply running it through the door, or you can mount it nice and clean and a little more, I'd call semi-permanent, by lifting the cab. We're going to go through how to put it in more of a semi-permanent location. Once you raise your cab, make sure to have it in the full upright and locked position per your manufacturer's specifications. So we're going to start by taking the toggle and placing it in the cab where you want to put it. Then we'll run this down, and then you come to the inline 20 amp fuse, and then this power lead is going to go back to the battery, and then this one is going to come back all the way up the loader arms and back to the attachment, essentially the 6-pin universal plug. You want to always try and tie into your main wires that are already on the skid loader. So here I'm going to catch up. Here's a main plug coming through, and I'm going to start zip tying it right there and work its way back and down to the battery. You can see how that goes all the way through there to the back. So here's the cord that comes from the toggle that's inside the cab, and we fished back through. Here's the 20 amp fuse. We want to keep that easily accessible to be able to check out. Here's where a cord splices. This is simply your 2-wire power cord that's going to go right to the battery. You simply would cut this back, strip the wires, and then either attach them with alligator clips or just right to the post and then clamp it in on your normal battery post. So now the last sequence is where we run this power cord up to the attachment. So we're going to fish that through, and we always want to follow a mainline hose up along the loader arm to hook up with the snowblower or the attachment side. So here we're on the outside of the skid loader. Now we're going to take that 6-wire power cord and head up to the front attachment. So you got to remember, the skid loader arms are constantly moving, so you have to take great care in where you run these. I always like to follow an existing hose or an existing power cord. On this Bobcat, we have both. So we fished it through from there. I'm going to bring up my extra cord, and I'm going to literally follow the current hydraulic hoses. So as we follow the hydraulic hoses, some newer loaders now run them through the center of the boom. Other loaders keep them on the outside. Doesn't really matter. You could fish it through the center of the boom if you wanted. That's going to be a little more difficult. Or you can run on the top, just like this current Bobcat 14-pin attachment control kit. So you can see with normal routing, we have plenty of cord to have slack yet out front. So here's the power lead from the battery. So we put on the adapter plate, run the power lead through, hook it up here, and we're ready to go there on the machine side. Once the Bobcat side is hooked up, the machine side, then you simply take the male for the attachment side, hook it up same way. You can either match colors here, or you can match the letters and numbers between the two. It only goes into the female in one way, so you got to make sure they're matched up to put them in. This is the single toggle control that comes with our tree shear or dozer blade. It's a simpler control because you only need 1 hot and 1 ground. You do it the same way though. You start with the single button toggle in the cab, tilt the cab back, run it to your battery. This small cord, short one, That goes right to the battery. Then this one we fish up the loader arms, just like before. Now the only difference is this one comes already with a 2-pin Deutsch connector. The machine, the tree shear, the dozer blade then will come with a power lead, also a 2-wire power lead, and it'll have a loose Deutsch connector to put in on the attachment side. You simply wire that up to match the black and the white, plug it in, and you're set to go. The single button toggle we make as a detent, because when we want to go from side to side tilt on the dozer blade to angle, we flip the switch, and then we still must send hydraulic fluid out to the dozer blade and essentially running the hydraulic toggle. Same thing on a tree shear. If we're running the toggle on our machine side to side and it's making the shear blade go in and out, and we want to rotate it hydraulically, we clip that, we run the same right toggle or engage the hydraulics, and this time instead of running the blade, it'll simply run the rotation. When we want to run the blade again, we hit that back and go back to running our hydraulics. Very simple. So here's the power lead that comes off the attachment, the tree shear, the dozer blade. Here's your Deutsch connector. The reason we leave this loose is so you can set it up the exact distance you want and better manage your cords and cord length. So you simply cut back the black outer cord, strip both the white and the black wire, put them into the back end of the Deutsch connector pin, as you can see here. Then complete by pushing in that once your pins are wired, and you'll be set to go, and then it's plug and play into the universal toggle on the machine side. So here's what we call a Canbus converter. This is strictly a Bobcat control. It's to change the Canbus signal on a Bobcat 7-pin over to a usable 12-volt to communicate with the attachments. This is the programmer essentially that does that, the computer that does that. We always put it on the attachment and we tuck it up in a secure location so it's protected. This is a pretty expensive piece, so we don't want to have any damage. Sometimes companies put it on the loader arms, but then it's right in the way and can get knocked off easily. For example, on our blowers, it's tucked on the inside of the machine right down there. So always tucked out of the way where the computer is protected. And then we run the 10-foot power lead with the hydraulic hoses and zip tie them together for protection. So it comes with 4 magnets and it clamps on right there. So just to be able to show this, I'm going to leave it right out in the open. And then essentially, even though it's tucked back, it comes with about a 10-foot power lead that then goes right up to the Bobcat and plugs right in to the 7-pin. So here it goes into the main controller. If we turn on the key now, we'll see a green flashing light. This is communicating with the machine to make sure everything is compatible. Now it just switched to red, which means we're ready to go. Now as the operator in the cab runs the different functions, you can see the lights light up. So on a snowblower, it'd be shoot left, shoot right, deflector up, deflector down. And you can change which functions do what by simply alternating the Deutsch connector in those 4 buttons. Mark, you want to show those again? Just run the 4. There's a green light showing everything is functioning. If you don't get a red light, then we got a problem in the cord or communicating with the machine. If you have any questions about this or any other Skid Pro product, call the Product Gurus at 877-378-4642 or visit us online at www.skidpro.com.